Picture this. You're lying in bed, scrolling, and a headline stops you cold. It says the average 35-year-old in Australia has a net worth of over $500,000. You do the maths on your own bank balance, your super, maybe a car that loses value every year it exists. And it doesn't come close. Your stomach drops, just a little. Quick reminder before we go further. This is general information, not personal financial advice, and every figure in this video is an estimate pulled from public wealth data, not your personal circumstances. So treat it as a compass, not a verdict on how you're doing. Once we unpack where that average number actually comes from, you're going to feel very differently about it. Because here's the thing, nobody tells you when they throw that headline at you. That number is almost engineered to make you feel behind. And once you see how, you genuinely can't unsee it. There are two very different numbers that get lumped together under average net worth, and mixing them up is the entire reason these headlines feel so brutal. The first is the mean, what most people mean when they say average. You add up everyone's net worth and divide by how many people there are. The problem is a small number of extremely wealthy households, think property empires, share portfolios in the millions, drag that number up for everyone else. The ABS's own figures show average household wealth across the whole country sitting above $1.5 million, roughly double what it was just a decade ago. That's not because the typical household got twice as rich. It's because wealth at the very top grew enormously, and averages don't know the difference between everyone got richer and a few people got a lot richer. The second number is the median, the actual midpoint, where exactly half of households have more and half have less. No billionaires distorting the picture, just the honest middle. For almost everyone watching this, the median is the number that actually describes your world. The mean is the number that describes a headline. So let's ignore the scary headline number and look at the honest one, age by age. At 25, the eye-catching average net worth gets quoted at somewhere around $125,000. The realistic median, the honest midpoint, sits closer to $58,000. And even that number is mostly superannuation, not cash sitting in a bank account. At this age, most people's net worth is early career super contributions, plus whatever savings they've managed to hold on to, minus things like HECS debt or a car loan. Property ownership at 25 is genuinely rare, so if you don't own a home yet, you are not the exception. You are the overwhelming majority. By 30, the gap between the scary number and the honest number gets wider, not narrower. The quoted average jumps to somewhere around $310,000. The median, what a typical 30-year-old actually has, is closer to $135,000. That widening gap isn't random. It's driven by a specific group. People who bought property early, often with help, whose home equity is now dragging the average upward, the same way a handful of billionaires drag up the national figure. For most 30-year-olds without a paid-down mortgage, a big chunk of that $135,000 is still superannuation, usually somewhere in the $50,000 to $80,000 range of it. Cash savings and anything else make up the rest. At 35, the numbers get their biggest jump yet, and this is where the real story lives. The quoted average is now above $500,000, roughly $560,000. The median sits around $250,000. But here's what almost nobody says out loud. By 35, net worth basically splits into two completely different games, and which one you're playing has very little to do with how hard you've worked. Picture Jess and Dave, both 35. Dave bought a place at 28, with help from his parents for the deposit. Jess has been renting the whole time. Same job, same discipline, same savings habit, just never had that early leg up. By 35, homeowner households like Dave's sit with a median net worth around $1.1 million, built almost entirely on property equity. Renting households like Jess's sit closer to 80 to 100,000. That is not a work ethic gap. That is a timing and circumstance gap. And property is doing almost all of the heavy lifting. If you're renting and comparing your bank balance to a homeowner's leveraged equity, you are comparing two different sports and scoring yourself against the wrong one. The fairer comparison, the one that will actually tell you something useful, is against other renters, not against whoever happened to buy in early. Here's the part that should genuinely make you feel better, not worse. Most people calculating their own net worth forget to include their superannuation because it doesn't feel like their money yet. But it is. And it's just money you can't touch until 60. Tonight, do the honest version of the maths. Log into your super fund and check your balance. Add your savings and anything else worth real money, shares, a car, whatever. Then subtract what you owe. Credit cards, personal loans, the outstanding half of any HEX debt if you want to be conservative. That number, all in, is almost always higher than the number sitting in your head because your head only counts the cash in your everyday account. For a lot of people watching this, once super gets added in properly, you're a lot closer to that median line than the doom scroll version of you assumed. So here's what to actually do with this. First, work out your real number tonight. Super balance plus savings plus anything else of value minus what you owe. That takes 10 minutes and most people have never done it. Second, if you're renting, stop measuring yourself against homeowners' net worth and start measuring against other renters. It's a fairer fight, and you'll probably find you're doing better than the headline made you feel. Third, whatever your number is, write it down somewhere, because the only comparison that actually matters is your own number in 6 months against your number today. You're not behind because a headline used the wrong average on purpose. You're just early, or you're renting, or you're both, and none of those are a verdict on where you'll end up. Make sure you subscribe, and let's get sorted.